The Western world is going green. If you were ever in any doubt, just think about the G7 in Carbis Bay in Cornwall a couple of months ago. The world's leaders were there. It was almost a competition for who could cut CO2 emissions the quickest. And, of course, the new American president, after that nasty man, Donald Trump, yes, the lovely, kind, nice Joe Biden. America is back, is what he said. And he's absolutely, with Boris Johnson and everybody else, on the green agenda. And, of course, vital to that are electric cars. And, indeed, the British government have said that from 2030 there'll be no new cars that are fuelled by petrol or diesel. They'll all be electric cars, every new car from 2030. For those cars to function, and when you think about it, really, an electric car is just a big battery with a carapace around it. You need lithium. Why? Because it's the lightest metal available. It is a very, very good conductor. If you don't have lithium, you simply don't have electric cars. Now, in Afghanistan, back in the 1980s, the Soviets did extensive geological surveys and they found a lot of lithium, amongst other things too, gold, cobalt, copper, many other things. But in those days, lithium didn't really matter. Well, the Americans in 2007 carried out their own surveys and produced it in a report in 2010. And it was then that the US Defense Department said that Afghanistan was the Saudi Arabia of lithium. But even that didn't really matter very much because Western governments had not by then made the really big commitments to go green, and electric cars were really a little bit of a dream that was there on the horizon. What I find extraordinary is the ongoing cost of Afghanistan to the Americans was relatively small. The big money was spent in the early years. There were still 3,500 troops there in Afghanistan. There was still, of course, an Air Force presence there in Afghanistan. But I do find it extraordinary that by just walking away in the way that Biden did, and with the Taliban taking over, he may well have blown the green revolution, which he is such a great champion of. And guess who the beneficiary is going to be? Well, Afghanistan borders China. The Chinese are really good at building roads and infrastructure. And China, despite its vast size, it may have lots of coal, which of course it mines in vast quantities as it continues to build 100 new coal-fired power stations every year. But China is very, very dependent on the rest of the world for copper, other resources, and indeed lithium too. So it seems to me that what Biden has done is given the Chinese an opportunity to do what they've already done in many parts of Africa, where they've gone in, they've bought mineral rights, the local governments get revenue from that, and by complete coincidence, lots of African leaders seem to get incredibly rich. I'm sure that is a coincidence. The Taliban and the Chinese government have already been talking about minerals, and we heard today that the world's second largest copper mine, a mine that was opened and then was closed because of the war, is going to reopen, and guess who's running it? Yep, it's going to be a Chinese company. And I think before very long, we will see China opening up lithium mining operations in what could well be the largest untapped reserve, probably is the largest untapped reserve of lithium in the world. And I think this is a major strategic failure by Joe Biden. I think it'll be disastrous for governments that want to go green, and the Chinese must simply be laughing at what the American president has done. So please, you tell me, do you agree with me that this is a major strategic failure? It's a failure on many other fronts too, but let me know your thoughts. GBViews at gbnews.uk.